Hey, this is Dan coming at you with a Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl prediction video. We're going to be doing some predictions today, a little bit of speculation, and just kind of give my 2 cents on this whole Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl crossover fighting game. So let's just get right into it here. There is a box art that was actually leaked from one of the retailers. I don't know if it was Walmart or which one it actually was. But there's some silhouettes that reveal some characters that weren't announced in the trailer. Looks like we have Cat Dog, which is a pretty cool choice. Pretty popular character, makes a lot of sense. And then also we have Aang and Korra from The Last Airbender, which makes sense. It's a perfect pick for a fighting game. And then we also have Ren and Stimpy. And I think that they're probably going to be like Ice Climber, to where it's a 2-in-1 character and they probably like help each other out, which kind of makes sense. I think their moveset would be pretty interesting, and it makes sense that they would be in the game too, since the Powdered Toast Man is already in it, so it makes perfect sense that they would include them. So those characters more or less are confirmed. There's a few other silhouettes here where we're not really sure who they're supposed to be yet. Some people have speculated that the one on the right might be Crumb from Our Real Monsters, which would be kind of cool. But now we're going to look into characters that are likely to be in the game, just based on the list that we have already. And the first pick that I had was Arnold, since Helga's already in there. If Helga's in there, Arnold is probably going to be in there. Arnold is a popular character. He had the Hey Arnold Jungle movie that came out, I think, in like 2017. So that's pretty recent. Still kind of a relevant character. He's still like a well-liked character. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be in this game if Helga's going to be in there. And the next character that we have picked is Eliza Thornberry. And I'm kind of just applying the same logic here. Nigel Thornberry was one of the characters that were revealed originally. So if Nigel is in there, Eliza is probably in there. The only thing I could see is if they just picked Nigel as kind of a meme character, because he's just kind of like this goofy character. And I could easily see them excluding Eliza from the character roster. But I think she has a good chance if Nigel is in there. Alright, and the last pick that we have for likely is Timmy Turner from Fairly Odd Parents. I would honestly be surprised if they didn't include him in this game, just because the show ran for a decade and a half, and it's a big part of Nickelodeon's history. Timmy, he's a pretty popular character. He could use Cosmo and Wanda for like different weapons and stuff. They could turn into different things. So I think Timmy has a pretty good chance of being in this game. And now we're going to look at characters who I think have a 50-50 chance of being in this game. Not likely, not unlikely, somewhere in the middle. And my first pick is going to be Jimmy Neutron. Now, we haven't seen Jimmy in a long time. He hasn't been in any movies or shows. They haven't tried to like revive Jimmy Neutron in any way. But there's still a lot of memes of him. We still see him a lot in different memes, and I think in that way he is culturally relevant. And just by that alone, I think he will have a shot in this game. And he could use Gizmo to fly around. That would be kind of cool. So I think Jimmy has a decent shot. The next one is going to be Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. And this is actually probably my number one pick. I'm a huge Rocco fan. The reason I put him in 50-50 is just because he's slept on a lot. Nickelodeon doesn't pay him and his series enough attention. And I just have this feeling they're not going to include him in there. But he's still a huge part of Nickelodeon. And he just recently, they had the 2019 Netflix movie called Static Cling. So he's still relevant. He's still a really well-liked character. and he's a big part of Nickelodeon's history. So I don't know. I'm 50-50 on him. I hope he's in there, but if not, I kind of wouldn't be surprised. And my next pick is going to be Tommy from Rugrats. Now, I know what you're thinking. If Reptar's in this game, Tommy's probably going to be in this game. Why would you put him as 50-50? Well, I put him in there just because he's a baby, and it's just weird because he can just crawl and he can barely walk, and this is a fighting game, and I don't know how they're going to animate him jumping around and running around these stages unless they put him in the Reptar wagon or something. I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. Honestly, I could easily see Angelica being in this game before Tommy, but that's just my opinion. We'll see what they do with it, but I'm going to put him as a 50-50 chance to appear in this game. And my next pick is going to be Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot. And honestly, I'm leaning more towards unlikely for her, but the only reason why I'm including her in 50-50 is just because she has a really cool character design, and I think she would be a perfect pick for this type of game. She can fly around, she has missile projectiles. So I think she would be a great choice, and that's the only reason why I'm including her in this. Otherwise, her show is kind of obscure. Not a lot of people remember it. It's just sort of a forgotten show from Nickelodeon. So I'm pretty sure it's unlikely, but I do think she has a small chance. And this last category is going to be unlikely picks. A lot of these picks are just for fun, just to sort of humor the idea of these characters possibly being in this game. And the first pick for that is going to be Angry Beavers. And this particular show, it wasn't extremely popular and it wasn't extremely unpopular. It was somewhere in the middle. And just by that, I just don't see them being in this game. They just weren't that iconic. They were just sort of just part of Nickelodeon back in the 90s. And Nickelodeon doesn't really pay much attention to them. They released a DVD of the full series, and that's about it. And I honestly just don't see them being in this game. And the next pick is going to be Otto from Rocket Power. And Rocket Power is also another one of those shows that wasn't really remembered fondly. It was very much a product of its time. There was a lot of extreme sports series and movies coming out, and this was one of them. The show focused on skateboarding and BMX and all that kind of stuff, so it wasn't that much remembered. I think Otto would be an interesting character because he could ride around on a skateboard and stuff, but I find it very unlikely that he will be picked for this game. And the next pick is going to be Rudy from Chalk Zone. And I think Rudy as a character himself would be an interesting character because he could draw different things and use different drawings for projectiles and stuff like that. But I honestly think, it's next to impossible that he would ever be in this game just because Chalk Zone is kind of obscure. No one really remembers it, just like some of these other shows I'm mentioning. So it's next to impossible that he would be featured in this game. Alright, and this next one's going to be Sanjay and Craig. I'm not awfully familiar with this show. I know it started in 2013 and it ended probably at around 2015, 2016. So it's still somewhat recent and, relative to a lot of these other shows that we're talking about. Their character design is kind of interesting. I could see Sanjay using Craig to get back, recover on the sides of the stage. That would be kind of interesting. He could also use Craig to grab people. But I don't know, man. I think it would just be very unlikely that we would see them featured in this game as well. Alright, and this next pick is just a personal pick from me. I know it's silly, and you know what? I don't care. It's Kenan and Kel. That's right, Kenan and Kel from the sitcom. It's a dumb pick, but you know what? I want them in there, man. Especially Kell. Like, Kell could use some orange soda attack or something as like a projectile. It would be funny. It would be epic. And look, we're not getting Drake and Josh because of what's going on with Drake. So I'll settle for Kenan and Kel. I know it's not going to happen, but it needs to happen. They need to be some DLC characters or something. It's got to happen at some point. And to sort of piggyback off that last pick, I also want Parker Dinkelman from the show Mr. Meaty. You probably don't remember it. It was an obscure show. It was kind of creepy. It was about these two guys working at some restaurant at a mall, and they would get into different hijinks and stuff. But yeah, Parker could like throw raw meat at people or something and use like a spatula as a weapon. It would be pretty funny. I don't see it happening. This show it's hated by a lot of people. A lot of people hate this show. I'll probably get dislikes in this video just for even mentioning it. But you know what? I want Parker Dinkelman in the game. Alright, and my last pick for unlikely is going to be Doug. And Doug is kind of an interesting one because he was the first Nicktoon. A lot of people don't know that. But he was the first Nickelodeon produced show. And so he has a lot of history with Nickelodeon. But I believe in the 2000s, Disney bought out Doug, and they own the rights to Doug. And it's going to be impossible that Doug will ever be in this game, just because Disney isn't going to give up the rights for Doug. So it's just not going to happen. It would be cool to see him, but it's not going to happen. Alright, so those are my picks for this Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl game. I'm looking forward to when this comes out. I think they said it was going to be fall of this year, so that's not too far off. So I'm pretty excited about it. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you have any like dream characters you want to share, let me know as well. Otherwise, take care and have a good one.